Hello. Everyone's doing well this evening. That light is too bright. I'm going to move away from it just a little bit. Okay. Verse of the Kesa. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. And the Gata of Atonement. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. Fragrance of this incense invites the awakened mind to be present with us now. The fragrance of this incense fills our sacred space, protects and guards our minds from wrong thinking. The fragrance of this incense unites us with precepts, concentration, and insight. We offer it for all beings. Homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I shall become one with the Buddha. I resolve that I shall each day follow the way of life he laid down for us to walk and awaken to his supreme wisdom. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I shall become one with the Dharma. The gates of Dharma are manifold. I vow to enter them all. The goal of wisdom is ever beyond. I shall attain it. I go to the Sangha for guidance. I shall become one with the Sangha in the spirit of universal fellowship. And as a member of the Sangha, I pledge myself to strive for the enlightenment of all beings. The Metta Sutta. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove. Wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upward to the skies and downward to the depths, outward and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will. Whether standing or walking, sitting or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into a world of suffering. Metta prayer. May I be happy and well. May no harm come to me. May I learn compassion. May all my friends, family, and those I love be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those troubled in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those who have hurt me in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those I have hurt in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all my enemies be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all living beings be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. We will do Metta Bhavana tonight because the people who are meeting with me on Mondays, that's their homework. So might as well let them do their homework tonight. So I'll give you a little guidance through that. Breathe deeply a few times, extending the out breath a little bit. Let your mind and body become calm. Belly relax so your breath can flow freely. And then as you breathe out, with your attention at the center of your chest, at your heart center, just note your breath with the thought, saying silently to yourself, may I be happy. And this is true happiness. This is the happiness that comes from within and it's found in the present moment. It's not something you have to strive for. It's not dependent on anything external. And so really what we mean is right now, sitting here breathing, may I be happy. May I be well. And we mean spiritually well. The body gets old and has aches and pains and all those things. But if we can be free from the poisons of greed, hatred, and delusion, then we're truly well. May I be happy. May I be well. And call to mind your loved one, someone who's very dear to you, parent perhaps, or spouse, or your child. And extend that happiness to them too. Visualizing them with you or thinking their name. Taking that warmth of goodwill that's arisen in your heart and extend it to them with the thought, may they be happy. And may they be well. And call to mind a good friend, someone who, when you see them, it makes you glad. Or when you think of them and the role they play in your life, maybe someone who's done you some favors, or you just really like being around. And extend that happiness to them also. May they be happy. Visualizing them or thinking of their name. And now call to mind an acquaintance, someone maybe you don't know them very well, but you see them around, or maybe you know them, but you don't really feel one way or the other about them. The idea with these is that they're kind of neutral. But even if you don't know them too well, you know that they experience happiness and unhappiness, that they're better, have better well-being with happiness, and that like yourself and your loved one and your friend, they want to be happy. May they be happy. May they be well. And maybe there's somebody you're not getting along with, someone who annoys you, someone you don't look forward to seeing, and call them to mind. And remember that difficult people are difficult because they're trying to be happy and doing it in maybe unskillful ways. But also remember that acquaintances can become friends, friends can become loved ones can become enemies, and so on. The person doesn't change. It's your thoughts about them that changes. I so wish them happiness. May they be happy. May they be well. And remember, this doesn't cost you anything. You're really developing the strength, the ability to greet the world with kindness. And finally, all beings, may all beings be happy. May all beings be well. Every living thing wants happiness, wants to be well, might define that differently, might not think about it consciously. So beings that walk, fly, swim, burrow, may they all be happy. May all beings be well. So before the bell rings to end the meditation, bring your attention back to your breath, back to your heart. That warmth is there for you anytime you need it. Have an endless supply of goodwill. The more you use it, the more you have. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, existing right here and now, and offering candles and incense, hearing the Dharma and training the mind. Great merit is attained. We dedicate this merit to the great Master Shakyamuni Buddha, the all-pervading and everlasting three treasures, to the 16 guardians and all protectors of the Dharma and their relations throughout space and time, to all ancestors of this Sangha and all beings in the Dharma world. May penetrating light dispel the darkness of ignorance. Let all karma be resolved and the mind flower bloom in eternal spring. May the Dharma body maintain strength and health, and years of life be lengthened for all teachers of this Sangha. May their vows be fully realized. May they live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma. We pray for those suffering from violence and those who grieve for them, for those living in oppression, for all who are imprisoned who should be free, for all refugees from violence, hunger, and catastrophes, man-made or natural. We pray for the health and well-being of those suffering from diseases of body, mind, or spirit, all those working toward the healing of those afflictions. We especially pray for those suffering from COVID-19, those working to protect and treat them, and to those grieving for those lost to this pandemic. May they be serene through all their troubles, and may we realize the enlightened way together. Sabe sata sadahantu avera sukha jivino katang punya phalang mayan sabe bhagi bhavantu te. May all beings always live happily, free from animosity. May all share in the blessings that spring from the good we have done. Jennifer, where are you from? I noticed that because people are saying good evening and you said good day. So I'm wondering where you're at. So I'm going to read to you. So this little book here, Tunneling for Sunlight, is by Greg Creech. Greg wrote the book on Nikon, gratitude, grace, and Nikon, The Japanese Art of Gratitude, Grace, and Self-Reflection. I think that's the proper full title. Anyway, he's a friend of mine and a colleague and teacher, and he sent out this little booklet a couple of years ago, and I've had it, and it's kind of on my desk. Oh, Kathleen, I'm fine. It's just the temperature change. I'm just a little sniffly. It's nothing serious. It's just because it got cold and, allergies and stuff. No big deal. I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Oh, Mims. Okay. Well, it's evening in Mims. Anyway, okay. Anyway, we're glad you're here. All right. So anyway, tunneling for sunlight. So, I've seen where a lot of people are watching this show on Netflix. I think it is. I guess it's a movie. Is it a movie or a series? Queen's Gambit. Is that a series? I haven't watched any of it, but I've heard people talking about it and about how good it is and stuff. And it reminded me of something that was in this book. And so series. Okay. Is it good? Have you seen it? So, I have this little group of Stetson people that I meditate with on Wednesday mornings. And yeah, I like chess too. And so I always look for a reading to start with. And so I found this one and I thought, I'm going to share this tonight because it's good. It kind of connects to the chess idea. I used to play chess regularly. I haven't played chess in a long time, though. I wouldn't say that I was ever good at it or anything like that. But, it's an interesting game. And, if you play chess, it's, the people who get really good at it can look at the board and they can see all these possible moves, and so they're thinking like umpteen moves ahead. So if I move this piece, here's the possible reactions to that and the possible reactions to those things. And there's just a whole lot of stuff to get it to like keep in your head to try to plan what you're going to do in your strategy in this game. Or so I'm told. I was never, like I said, wasn't particularly good at playing chess. I did kind of like it. It's kind of intriguing, this whole idea of planning ahead like that. But here's what Greg says. He says, when you're faced with a predicament or a challenge, what do you do? If you're smart, you probably try to think of a solution. You try to think your way out of a predicament. Too often, we approach life as if it were a chess game. We try to anticipate a whole string of moves. I'll do this, and then life will do this, and then I'll do that, and then life will respond by doing that. We create a mental map which ends up in our winning being defined as getting the outcome we desire. But then life doesn't respond the way we expected. Life doesn't play by linear rules. For example, it's our move, and life just grabs our bishop. Or life just turns our queen into a pawn. And that leaves us frustrated and disappointed and exhausted mentally and emotionally. We can't play chess with life because life isn't a chess game. We can't think our way through our dilemmas and challenges. We can't count on anything being predictable from one day to the next or from 1 hour to the next. We need to give up chess and start dancing. We listen for the music, feel the beat. Life takes a step, we take a step. Life twirls us, and our chance is to twirl as gracefully as possible. We're not trying to outsmart life. We are trying to be a good partner. Sometimes we lead, sometimes life leads. We try not to step on anyone's toes, but if we trip over our own feet, we laugh at ourselves and get up. Chess is a game of intensity, of competition, of thinking and more thinking. Dancing is movement without thought. Surrender to the music, whatever happens to be playing at the moment. Dance your way through life. And so the maxim, this really is about Greg works with maxims, little sort of turning phrases that you can kind of use to operate by. And so the maxim for this one is you can't figure out life in your mind. And that's a really good teaching and a really good point. Which is not to say don't think. It's not to say don't plan. It's not to say don't try to do things to prepare for difficult times and stuff like that. I mean, Buddhism is all about, uh, doing good, avoiding evil, training your mind so that you'll be prepared for what comes along. And so you'll be prepared for, when this life comes to an end, what will happen, next time around and that kind of thing, even preparing beyond this life. But that only takes you to a certain point. And this idea, I think, of life as a dance, yeah, yeah, I hear you. This idea of life as a dance and something that you respond to, I think is really useful. Um, you know, I've been a musician off and on most of my life, most of my life, and at times when I was playing a lot, and when I was actually kind of sort of good at it, improvising with other musicians is a great metaphor for the way life goes. And you might have a framework. You come in and you're going to play a song. There's a couple of different ways you can do that. One is you can approach a song as if you're going to play it exactly as if somebody else recorded it or whatever, or even work it out and you stick note by note with how it goes. And then when somebody flubs a note, or when you're something goes wrong with your guitar or whatever, then nothing works and you just sort of freak out. Or you can come in and go, okay, here's the song. This is the framework that we're working with. And so within that, we can all play together. And if somebody drops some key change in there that you weren't expecting, everybody can kind of respond to that. Oh, that's where the music wants to go. And they're both okay. I personally prefer the latter. I approach a song and never play it exactly the same way twice, because to me, it's music if you're doing it right. And not to knock there's certainly a fine craft to being in a band that can play everything exactly the same way every night. It would just bore the crap out of me, to do it that way, right? And so I think, and life won't fit itself to that at all, because you're going along fine, and then all of a sudden there's a global pandemic, or hopefully, we won't have. Most of us won't experience another thing quite to that degree in this lifetime, hopefully. But there's certainly other things come along, and so this idea of dancing with it is, I think, a really good one. And yeah, there's a few things that you can't control. So, you can anticipate anything you want to, right? But you can't control the future. You can prepare for it. You can plan for it. You can do what you can to make yourself prepared for the future, but you can't control it. You can't control other people. Okay? Again, you can try to manage them, right? Certainly, you can manipulate people if you're into that sort of stuff, but those kind of things only go so far. And all of a sudden, one day, they go, I'm tired of your crap, right? And they're not around to be manipulated anymore. Or, that you do the best you can to manage a situation if you're an employer or whatever. And sometimes they don't, they just don't go with the game plan. Sometimes, if you're okay with that, right? If you're not trying to force everything to be a certain way, people will surprise you in really good ways. They'll do things that are way better than you would have managed them to do. But you can't control them. And you can't control the past.
The past is what it is. Can't can't change it. You can regret all you want to, but you can't change anything. So, there's a Zen master, and I can't remember who it was, but he fairly famously said something like, uh, uh, sorry, the comment about Bob Ross distracted me. I got a story related to that. Anyway, this Zen master would talk about something like live a life of no regret. And you think, okay, well, that means you do everything perfectly, or that you really dedicate yourself to the Dharma and you meditate every day and all that kind of stuff. But it also means, I think, recognizing that regret is kind of pointless. So you can learn from the past. You can go, wow, that didn't work out well at all. Let me do something different now. Yeah, that's pretty helpful, pretty useful. But gosh, I wish I hadn't done this. That's just not going to get you anywhere. And the truth is, too, that if you dance with life, even misfortune can turn out to be something kind of good sometimes. I went through a really dark time in my life once, and I was in Taiwan, and I had this dream that there was this like I'd been in this place in Taiwan where in Taipei where they have apothecary shops and stuff, and there are all these people selling like snake oil and magic elixirs and soups that are supposedly cure you and all this kind of stuff. And so I dreamed that that I met this Chinese guy, this old you know stereotypical in my dreams, sort of Chinese apothecary sort of dude. And he said he could undo anything in my past that I wanted undone. And so I woke up, and this was one of those 3 a.m. conversations with myself. I woke up from this dream and I'm thinking, wow, that would be really great. And then I started thinking about what the consequences would be of undoing any of the mistakes that I'd made in the past. And the reality was they had all ended up. There were things in my life that I probably would lose if I undid some of those mistakes, and that things that I wouldn't want to lose, And even though I'd gotten there from this sort of roundabout way that wasn't maybe the best way, where I hadn't made the best choices, perhaps, still, I wasn't unhappy with a lot of what I had. And there were things in my life that I wouldn't want to lose. So, so that's kind of what happens if you stay open to what the opportunities are. And if you look and kind of see, well, where am I now? Where can I go from where I am? So, Bob Ross, I have an old friend who was a sound engineer and stuff, and he worked with Bob Ross as a because Ross was, I think he was somewhere in Florida when he was filming those things, and my friend worked with him and said he was exactly the way he came across on TV, which he suspected had something to do with. Well, no, I'm not going to say. He thinks is he buried in Gotha? Yeah, okay. So he was somewhere in the Orlando area. That's what I thought. Somewhere in Central Florida. And so he had worked with him to tape these things, and he said he was always just like that. Happy little trees, happy little rocks, whatever. That kind of guy, and that kind of person who finds happy accidents. That's a really interesting way to live. So I went skydiving once, exactly once. It was okay. I did it to I think it was the Orlando Weekly. When the News Journal laid me off, I was working on a couple of things that I tried to find new homes for. And one of them was something about skydiving into DeLand, because skydiving into DeLand is kind of a big deal. So really, DeLand, weirdly enough, is like the center of the universe with regards to the skydiving industry, manufacturing, and stuff like that. And so I was writing something about that, and I ended up doing a story for the Weekly, I think it was. And they had said, it would be a really interesting story if you'll jump out of a plane as part of what you're writing. And so I did. I got them to that. I didn't pay for this. They took me up, gave me one of their tandem jumps. So anyway, I tell you all that just so I can tell you this. Standing there getting ready to get on the plane, there's a sign right at the end of where you walk out to board the plane. And it says, no matter what, go with the flow. And so I was standing there with the instructor. I said, so that's a very interesting thing to say, but what's the significance of it right here in this particular place? And he said, well, when you jump in the plane, you're supposed to go into the wind. I think that's what the deal was, into the wind. And that, as you know, like every airport, there's a windsock. So you kind of know which direction the wind's blowing. So you jump out, you go into the wind, and I don't know why, but I guess you end up closer to the drop zone where you're supposed to be if you go into the wind. And he said, but if you jump out of the plane and everybody else is not going into the wind, well, you go with the flow. And he said, because otherwise you're liable to go right into somebody and get tangled up, and then you both, hit the ground pretty hard. So if all else fails, no matter what, go with the flow. Now that doesn't mean if everybody, that there are circumstances where that really probably wouldn't apply. If everybody's going to a really bad place and you can go the other way and maybe turn them with you, or at least get yourself out of the stream, then, if going with the flow means heading for the big power lines or whatever, then you don't want to do that. But generally speaking, look which direction life is taking you. See if there's not some way that you can ride that wave or ride that breeze and end up someplace good. And if nothing else, don't kill yourself in the process. So that's all I really had for you tonight. Are there any questions? Anything that you want to? By the way, I said something during the meditation tonight that I've never said before, but probably should have. And it was that being spiritually well means that you're free from the poisons of greed, hatred, and delusion. So I'll say that again when I teach that meditation sometimes, because it just occurred to me tonight while I was doing this. And it's something that I've thought of a lot, but I don't think I've ever said it out loud. So anyway, hopefully that if you're working on Metta Bhavana, that will be helpful to you. All right. Well, thank you very much for being here. And I hope you have a great evening. Stay warm. And I will see you Sunday from White Sands Buddhist Center. Have a good night.